Well, last year we did a lot of work on the 424 with the Onan NB, and it's just literally sat since last summer probably, or early fall. Haven't touched it since, and I had this dream of hooking up the 40-inch mower deck to it, which we started to take apart last year, and I think I put some idler pulleys on it and basically never touched it since. So let's get a little look at what we're going to do here. Last year the Carb was leaking gas like crazy, so the first thing we have to do is fix a flat tire and put a tube in it, and then we're going to fix the Carb and see why it's leaking gas out of it, and hopefully we can get this thing back up and mowing again. Hope you enjoy. I'm taking the Carb apart on the 424 Onan NB, and the float on here is a little wonky, like it's a little low, so I think we need to raise it up a little bit. And I can't remember when I rebuilt it last year if I changed the needle and seat or not, so we're going to check that out too. It's always nice to make notes. 9620 Onan NB, use bowl gasket only and needle gasket. So that tells me that this is the original needle and seat in here. So let's kind of look at what parts we have left in this box. Yeah, so basically what's left is the needle and seat, which I didn't change in here. So it's always a gamble whether you want to screw with them or not. But, I say we just do it and go for it. So the old one doesn't even look worn. That's why I never changed it. Has a nice tip on it still. I think I'm just going to leave the old one in, but just adjust the float, because I was getting leakage here. And this float, it's funny, it looks just like that Kohler float we were playing with the other day. I think the tab needs to be bent up a little bit more. It's just not working good. Maybe I should look at this new needle and, you know what, let's just do it. Let's change it. You know what the heck, let's change it. We'll put the old used one back in the package and we'll put the new one in. Why not, right? I already got it apart. So I like to heat this up with a torch here on a brass for a couple seconds and then use a big huge flat blade screwdriver, and it usually comes right out. So let's see if we can try it. All right, we're going to give it a shot. I tried to loosen the screw without heat and it won't budge at all. So again, I just like to heat it up for a couple seconds. Maybe you count to 5 and that's it. Okay. Now, the Carb is not really secure in the vise here, so I'm going to hold it with my hand. And let's see. Put this thing in there. Yep, that worked. Works every time for me. I destroyed a bunch of carburetors before I learned the little bit of heat trick is all you need on these things. So we'll let that kind of cool off for a minute before we touch it, and we'll compare the new parts to the old parts and put it back together. All right, so I got the new seat here, and it's what you're really looking at is the depth of it. It's exactly the same as the old seat. The way they machined the top is more like hollowed out than the old one, but that doesn't mean anything. That's just where you put your screwdriver in. The needles are pretty much the same. The new needle had the new spring in it and the new thingy that goes into the spring. So let's just put this in and see if it works any better. All right, so in the instructions that came with this Carb kit here, they tell you that the float should be up 7/8. Generally, you just want things to be level, but I mean, just looking at it here, I did my best to just level it out by eye, and then I measured it with this ruler here, and it's at 7/8. So we'll see what happens when we put it back together. Now, let me tell you what I noticed here. I put it back together, and the bowl was loose. I could see air down here on the bottom where it mounts, and I don't know if this is stupid or not, but this is what I did. I had another brand new kit, and I took the gasket out of this one and I actually put 2 gaskets in there. So the original gasket that came in this kit here, and by the way, I'm using this kit here, high grade. It's this one here says it's 1666, but I was really going by I guess that is it, 1666, yeah. I got these on Rock Auto. I had found some really old thing. This is a Zenith 1408 carb. And at one point I found a really old cross-reference that said that that was the kit for this carb. And I've used it on a couple of them, and I never had any issues, but I don't know if this bowl is bent or what the deal is, but it just won't seal with one gasket. So I'm going to put it back on the tractor, and we're going to try to start it up. And it was leaking out of the top of the bowl on it last year, and then I parked it and never touched it again. And maybe this will fix it. And I'm going to see if I can find, I think another Onan uses the same gasket. Maybe an NH Onan uses it, NHC or NH, instead of just this NB. So I'll do a little more digging and see if I can figure that out too. Order some more. All right, so I put some gas in it, and we're gonna give it a little carb cleaner because the whole fuel system here is empty. This can does not want to squirt, by the way. I'm trying to get a couple last drops out of it. I gotta open my new can over here. Hold on. All right, we got a fresh can. Let's fill her up with some. Oh man, that thing sprays like crazy. All right, let's see what happens if I come up here and turn on the battery. I got the choke on. I've already checked the oil and everything. It's in neutral. Let's see what happens here with the Onan NB. Shut up. First crank. Leaking gas out of the fuel pump. Well, that's a fail. All right, let's see. That fuel pump is bad news, man. Onan NB, baby, yeah. Thing's awesome. All right, let's give it some throttle and see what happens. Dude, this thing idles really nice. Great tractor. Going backwards here. We got to get that 40-inch mower deck on it and try cutting some grass with this thing, man. That would be a lot of fun, I think. So that's our goals.